Here's my human army for tonight's game, and it is just under 1,500 points. We're going to start out here with the characters. On the right here, we have our level 2 spellcaster. She will be knowing Fleet Feet at casting number 5 and Fireball at casting number 7. To the left, we have a captain in his heavy armor with his shield and sword. Directly behind them, we have 14 human warriors, and behind them, we have 5 human cavalry. So we pan out, you see 2 units of 10 archers each and 2 units of 20 spearmen each. Now the spearmen have been upgraded with the ability to take the phalanx formation for 2 points each. Altogether, it's going to be 8 activations, 7 activations, ready to take on Jim and his elves. As this is an introductory game for my friend Jim, I built him this 1,500 point made up exclusively of elves. And so we're going to start out here with the characters. Over on the right, you have a level 2 spellcaster. He's going to end up taking Tangle Feet on her, casting number 7. That's out of the new rulebook that came out. And then Water Elemental at casting number 9. To the left there, you have an Elf Champion who's powerful in his own right. Moving over on the left, you got the fast-moving, nimble guys in the Elf Army. In the front there, 2 units of Rangers, 5 men each. And in the back, you got 2 units of Path Guard, 10 men each. And over on the right, you have the regular soldiers of the Elven Army. In the front there, we have some Elf Archers, 10 men. And then in the back there, you have 1 unit of 10 and 1 unit of 9 soldiers. Both those units of soldiers have the ability to form shield walls. So as I said, just over 1,500 points and a total of 8 activations once that champion goes and joins those soldiers. Alright, we have the board all set up for Chance Encounter. The humans are marching into the land of the elves. As you see the elves across the board, we got some light patches of trees. I've cut them down a little bit, make it a little bit better. We have the last human in on the road into the elven territory. And of course my humans are starting on the near side. So a couple special rules here. In order to win the game, the humans have to have 4 units of at least 5 guys each within 12 inches of the elven deployment zone. And then in addition to that, we have a road this time, and that's going to be +3 movement to anybody who starts on the road and has their entire movement on it. We got that from the Secure the Road scenario from Oathbreakers. Other than that, I think Lake over here is impassable terrain. We should be good to go. So as far as my side's concerned, I have started out with my 2 units of archers. They are leading the way. 1 on the road, 1 off to the right. And then I have my human captain here with my human warriors. They're in the center so they can do some command. And also they can take advantage of the road in order to get towards Jim's forces. So Jim, new to the channel, say hi to everybody, Jim.
How you doing?
Has deployed his elven forces. So you want to tell us about what you've done?
Sure, I put closest thing I have to heavy infantry in the middle of the road in hopes of stopping any fast advances. And then I've got my archers, my better archers over here, and then the archer scouts with nimble over here so they can get past these trees pretty easily. Hoping to harass Michael and slow him down from the get-go.
Sounds fair. Now those elven soldiers, they have shield wall. They're going to start with the shield wall on or off?
Given that you put 2 groups of archers out there, and since I want them to hold the center, we're going to start with shield wall on. Sounds
fair to me. Okay, so each turn what we're going to do is we're going to try to bring on an additional 3 units onto the force, onto the table, and then what we'll do as usual is the first 2 turns we'll just give you a recap at the end, and from turn 3 on we'll go ahead and show you the entire turn. So catch you back after turn 1. Alright, turn 1 has seen both sides bloodied as it started with me bringing a mage in, and here she is. She cast a fireball, taking off 2 of the elves from that unit right there, Jim's showing you. Other than that, brought in these guys and moved up the road, and they shot at the unit of elf soldiers that Jim put up front to kind of sacrifice, taking out 2 of them. These guys failed their activation, and then the captain kept everyone in order except for these front archers. I'll let Jim tell you about what he did to them. As far as other units brought on by the humans, we have the spearmen on the far left flank, and then we have the medium cavalry in the medium left flank, trying to deny a flank right now over on the right where I have no forces. So Jim, what did your forces do?
So, let's see. I think the first thing I did was bring in these archers here, I believe. And then to counter the cavalry and the spearmen over there, brought in these infantry. these soldiers. Unfortunately, the mage that I tried to bring in failed. Was just too busy to come out and help, evidently.
96% of the time works every time.
Yeah, but not this time. So then I moved all 3 of these units forward. Like Michael suggested, these guys were up there just kind of to hold the road, take some arrow fire. Then these guys both moved up separately and fired on those archers on Michael's side.
With the regular archers doing 2 damage and then the pathfinders doing 3 damage. Not pathfinders, rangers. It was the morale check from the rangers 3 damage that they failed, so they are currently shaken. All right, but that's what we're looking at. The road has helped the humans move forward a little bit faster. I think that's a nice balancing mechanism. So we are ready to go to turn 2. Let's roll for initiative, buddy. So 2 dice. And I have rolled a 4-9.
I don't remember how this works.
7-6. You go by the higher number, so my 9 beats your 7.
Okay.
And the humans have initiative. So we're at the end of turn 2, and it is a beautiful battle. And I think, well, the elves are definitely winning on the archer fight. As you can see, my archers have been dwindled down to just 6 now. As the captain has taken the charge, moved forward beyond. I had cast, with my mage, Fleet Feet on him, so they move an incredible 10.5 inches plus 3 inches for being on the road. Coming in from behind is this unit of spearmen. They have committed towards the center of the board here. Over on the left, the cavalry has activated and moved forward to see where they want to go. And over on the left, Jim had managed to cast Tangle Feet. Well played, Jim. And then, insult to injury, these guys didn't activate, so that means that they did not move at all. Other than that, I think that is it for my side. Jim, what would you like to highlight on your side?
So the elves are excited about whittling down the range units on the human side. We did bring in the mage and then successfully cast Tangle Feet as Michael suggested.
Tangle Feet!
It's Tolkien reference. I brought forward the soldiers here because the threat I see is the cavalry getting across, so I want to make sure I can counter it, because once they get within a foot, that's the victory condition. So I'm trying to put the heaviest soldiers I got out there to try to stop that. And then these 2 path guards units are just in reserve with the idea that I can send them wherever I see the most trouble. Little worried about the captain and those units there, but I'm hoping with arrow fire and with possible charges here we can stop them.
Yeah, so he did move the unit with shield wall backwards.
Ah, yes.
Retreat it.
Tactical retreat.
All right, let's go ahead and roll for initiative and see who's going to go first. I have rolled a 8-6.
Really want this time. 2-9.
So that 9 beats my 8. You will be going first. So we're not going to show everything. We're just going to be a nice quick battle report. We'll show you what everything looks like at the end of turn 3. We are at the end of turn 3 when we had our first melee engagement as my captain did a little wheel action, then charged into those rangers before they activated. Killing 3 of them, lost 1 in return, but shook them up as well. Archers took out all but 1 of my archers, but it did clear the way for my spearmen to move up on the road 12 inches. Poor mage back here failed to activate. She was going to get a fleet foot off on those cavalry. Instead, the Elven mage got another Tangle Feet off on to the cavalry, so it's going to be a little difficult. These guys did activate this time, though, so they got to move forward 6 inches. They have a long way to go, but a long time to get there. I think it's going to be okay. So, Jim, what about your elves?
Well, the rangers here got hit pretty hard, which is really unfortunate. They're probably not going to be around much longer. Came to the conclusion that I definitely used the path guard poorly in this battle, because they should have been out front, like you suggested, trying to use nimble or for some flanking maneuvers, and I've had them in reserve, and they've amounted to nothing so far.
A little bit too literal. They're guarding the path of the road. That's,
yeah, so a little bit of regret there. What else? We obviously did, I think you already suggested this, whittle down your archers quite a bit. The mage did successfully tangle them as well, so there's a lot of overgrowth on this side of the map. I moved these soldiers forward which I think I might come to regret, but anyway.
We shall see.
That's where
So
we are.
it's been an exciting battle so far.
Yeah.
As we get ready to go into turn 4, let's go ahead and roll for initiative. This is a big one, of course. Jim has rolled a 3-9, solid. I've rolled a 5-7, so it will go to the Elves. We'll be back after turn 4 next. All right, we're at the end of the turn 4. The humans are putting up a good fight, but the Elves are pushing us back, that's for sure. So in the center, when Jim got the initiative, I'll let him talk about that. What did I do? I didn't do much. Activate this unit over here. They managed to move forward 6 inches, so they're trying to make a break for Jim's edge still. My mage did get off fireball and killed one of those rangers. Everything else, we were charged and had to react. So, Jim, you want to describe what kind of happened on your side of the board to include that spell over there?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I think, let's see, I won initiative, and I think my very first action was to pivot these path guard and hit the flank of the heavy infantry there, which made a big difference to tie them up. It did...
You shook them?
Shook them. These guys... You shot and eliminated the last archer over there.
They did, yes.
And then they pivoted with the chance of charging later. These guys whittled them down, I think.
They took one.
And then my favorite maneuver was moving the path guard back here and then having the soldiers charge and actually win that battle there to push those spearmen back.
Won it decisively. I lost 4 spearmen to Jim's 1 Elven soldier.
Some lucky rolls.
Elves showing their mettle.
High skill.
Thanks to the captain still being here, though, I was able to manage to make their morale. So, and then over here we had a cavalry battle.
That's correct, and I decided to charge with the soldiers, and they did not do well, and Michael's cavalry took out 2 of them.
Kept your shield wall up.
Yeah, which I still like the idea, but
yeah,
might have weakened my attack a little bit. And then the mage successfully put the water elemental into play, which I'm thinking is going to help a lot on this right flank, which is obviously the weaker part of my battle line.
Yeah, I like to think your mage was just doing some last-minute cramming for her spells, and that's why she didn't show up in turn 1.
She's practicing.
And she's been killing it since she came on. Okay, so that's the end of turn 4. We're getting ready to go into turn 5.
She's hitting 1,000, so...
As usual, things not looking great for my humans, but we do not give up easily, as I rolled a 1-5.
7-10.
That will be you, sir, and so we'll come back after the end of turn 5 to show you where we're at then. Turn 5 is done, and the central advance for the human forces has been defeated, unfortunately. Series of good flanking maneuvers, and Elven Bowfire have taken out my mage. Over here on the left, though, things continue to go pretty well as I used my first action to charge into those soldiers there. Took out quite a few of them, didn't take any casualties in return. And so we're trying to push forward there along with these spearmen in the hopes that these spearmen can split into a couple of different units and maybe get a little bit of a victory here. It's a long shot, but we're going to try. Jim, what happened on your side?
So these are the heroes of the battle so far. These soldiers took out the unit of spearmen. These path guard had pivoted or had attacked the flank of the heavy infantry again, and both of those attacks routed the enemy, so that made a big difference for us there.
Yeah, it was one of the cases where the captain's unit panicked and routed, and then this unit with cascading morale got shaken, and then Jim charged into him and did a lot of damage again. I think 3 this time, which was more than enough to send him off the table.
Yeah, so obviously that's a really positive development. Now it just feels like we have to make sure we get to our right in time. Feel good about the water elemental. We know it's just a matter of time for these soldiers here. They can't withstand this cavalry. They got hit fairly hard last time. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, well, let's roll for initiative as we go into turn 6. I really need it right here. I've gotten a 7-2.
And 8-1.
That's unfortunate for me. All right, so we'll come back after turn 6. Humans continue to push forward on the left as we've destroyed a unit of Elven soldiers, but then some dastardly Elves use their ranged attack to destroy one of them, so they are no longer a scoring unit. Jim, your water elemental failed to activate for the second time. Not nearly as fun as activating on 3s, huh?
Unreliable.
And then what I did is I did activate with them, and they wheeled in so I can't be hit on the flank. But essentially, no longer able to win. I do want Jim to see what the water elemental does. So we're going to be doing one more turn as he's still learning the game, and then I think I shall be able to surrender. So roll for initiative, sir.
Okay.
2-4.
9-6.
That will be you again. I should have brought Seize the Initiative as my spell. Alright, the human forces have conceded. The water elemental came in and took out 2, and my spearmen managed to destroy it, because spearmen with phalanx are really good at a fight 6. Then my cavalry was charged by these Pathguard. Pathguard are so good on the flanks. They managed to take out 3 of them. I took out 1 in return, but Jim passed his morale test. I did not pass my morale test. So, as the Elven forces, last thing, Jim, what did you try to do with your Elven mage?
I'll try to cast another water elemental.
Seems like you're kind of rubbing it in at that point, right?
Well, you know, it was your idea.
All right, so the Elves took a little bit of a beating. As you can see, it was a super fun game. I think Tanglefoot was really key there.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and talk about it if Jim's up for it. So thanks for checking us out. Welcome back to the Warcore YouTube channel, where you just saw another game of Oathmark. It is my game of choice these days. I have a blast, and I have the pleasure of welcoming my childhood best friend, Jim. If you caught the Paint All the Minis podcast I was on, it was like episode 95. I talked extensively about my gaming history with Jim. Started really in high school. He actually just found an Elven archer from like Warhammer 5th edition that had been hiding.
Yes, and it's from when I tried to paint, and I'm so bad at it, so all I had done was the priming, and I think I gave up.
I was going to say, it wasn't painted at all. But
I tried painting others, and they were so bad that this one I had only primed, and so I just quit.
Well,
it was nice to find it.
Your miniature snipe were painted very well, so...
Yeah, you did a good job.
This is Jim's second game with Oathmark, but he has some history with rank and flank strategy games from the Warhammer days. And so tell us, what do you think about it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I do prefer the rank and flank style games, and it's what we did growing up. And, you know, I've just loved fantasy all my life, so it's kind of the way I think. And I study ancient history, so that's also the way I think, those type of battles.
I wouldn't have thought that you liked the fantasy stuff, because I tried to make a Legolas reference and you stopped me cold in my tracks. So maybe it's just Tolkien you don't like, I don't know.
I had to point out that in real warfare, archers do not try to hit one single dude. They just fire into a crowd of people. But anyway.
Now, does that real warfare include elves?
That's a fair point.
Because it was an elf that killed my
fair
mage.
Point.
So.
Fair point. So, yeah, I had a really good time. It was a great experience.
It's a super simple game, but there's a lot of decisions to be made and a lot of thinking, I would say, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I really enjoy it. The movement is pretty intuitive. Like, you get one maneuver or you can take 2 moves. The activation and morale mechanics are complicated enough that it's interesting to see what happens. Like, you know, am I going to roll my activation number, get that 1 or 2 actions? So morale works very well. I just love this game.
Yeah.
And what you haven't been introduced yet, other than me just talking about a little bit, is the kingdom creation and campaign. And I think we managed to convince you to play a little bit of a campaign with me.
I'm
right?
looking forward to it.
So
can I just say one thing really quickly?
Absolutely.
As somebody who does not have a ton of experience with this, I think what I like in terms of the thinking part of it is, tactically, I like the idea of thinking about who am I going to tie up, or who do I need to hit now before they have a chance to activate. I'm thinking back to Warhammer days. Tell me if I'm wrong, but one side would move all of their units at the same time, then the other side would respond, and there was none of that tactical thinking of who can I tie up while I have the chance. And I really love that aspect of the game.
So that's such a big aspect, and Chris and I have talked about that a lot. Those decisions, like, okay, if I activate this unit, it might go really well for me, but then I'm leaving this unit out to dry. and maybe it'd be better if I didn't leave them out to dry, but then I'm going to miss this opportunity here. What you haven't seen a lot of is command with captains and princes, where you can activate 2 or even 3 units at the same time.
That's interesting.
So that comes into play as well, but thinking about that is really what makes the game interesting, counting turns 3, 4, and 5. And then the other part is, like, I can make this flank attack, but that's going to expose my flank. And when I'm dealing with something that we dealt with tonight for your first time, my second time, formations, with the phalanx, getting hit in the flank is, like, really bad.
As it was historically.
Yeah,
they were
so
extremely weak.
That was one of the new additions to the game. You got to play with the shield wall. Seems like a solid choice for the elves, because the elves are so expensive. Giving them a little bit more defense in melee kind of increases their longevity.
Yeah.
Especially if you have pathfinders coming up the flank and whatnot.
Yeah. And I enjoyed the moments when I had to decide, and you were really nice to prompt me on that, whether or not it was a good idea to keep the shield wall up, or keep it up or tear it down. So it's good stuff. I still wonder if it should affect range attack, because I think it should, but...
Yeah, it would be nice to get a clarification on that. But I did ask on Discord, and they told me that it did not.
Well, okay.
So I got a second opinion, but yeah. Some other things that you haven't seen yet are the skirmishers, but we talked about not great for elves, because you lose your fire over and your aim fire abilities, and they're awfully expensive. But I think when we're talking about your kingdom, maybe put some halflings in there for some cheap cannon fodder, maybe some skirmishers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to have heavy cavalry, which I know is not or I think I remember you saying is not an option with the elves.
Elven cavalry is an option, and elven mounted rangers, so they're defense 12 as opposed to the human heavy cavalry is a 13. But one of the great things about Oathmark is you can mix your races.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring in human heavy cavalry, that's just making sure one of those territories is human heavy cavalry.
Oh, cool. So I just want something with a lot of punch. But anyway,
I want some goblin wolf riders.
Oh, those sound like fun.
They are.
Do the wolves attack as well as the goblins? I think that's what they used to do in Warhammer.
They used to do that in Warhammer, but with the simpler mechanics, you still get 5 dice. But they're like the light cavalry in the game. They still have pretty good defense, and they're fast. They don't activate real well, as you might expect from goblins, but they're cheap. So I do like their ability to kind of hit flanks and make sure that the left and right flanks of the army are protected.
That sounds good.
Also shoot some bows if you choose those. So it's such a great game. So you got a lot of reading to do, I know.
Yeah.
But I'll help you out. Anyways, this was a shortened battle report because it was a learning game, and in the future, hopefully we'll be able to do like the regular and show a little bit more dice rolls. But I hope you enjoyed it. I know we get some requests for some shorter battle reports. So, Oathmark content better than no Oathmark content.
Yeah. Can I talk about my MVPs really quick?
We're running out of time.
No.
Go ahead.
So I really think what made the battle a success was the mage with the tangle spells early on our right flank, and then these soldiers in the middle who cleared out the road. So I just wanted to, give a little credit where credit's due.
So the mage a little bit late on coming to the battlefield. That 4% chance of not activating kind of bit you that first turn, but when she did come on, she activated every time, cast every time, and that Tanglefoot is a really good spell. I think next time I'm running this mission, I'm gonna have to bring Dispel for my mage for sure. And then those guys overperformed.
They did. Only 3 left, but
they still got their banner. I gotta make banners for them.
They do. MVPs.
On my side, I thought my archers did really well.
They did.
We lost that battle, but you're not going to win that battle against all those elven archers. But I thought they did well in kind of thinning out the ranks. And then the captain just didn't have any support with his warriors. Yeah. The Tanglefoot, I had planned to bring the cavalry up and provide some support there, but you made good use of the trees and that terrain as well as the Tanglefoot. So, all right, many lessons learned, much fun had, and we shall be back. So, catch you guys later.
All right.